Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to those here and also connecting online. So let's settle into our evening, this full moon evening. Also the first full day of the Vassa retreat, which traditionally started yesterday. So opportunity to settle into a meditation with the full moon outside. So establishing our comfortable sitting position, our body aligned with some degree of symmetry, balance, poise, helping to enable an inner mindful presence. Our eyes gently closed, helping to bring awareness within. And breathing out any stress tension that may have been building in our body over the happening of this day, the happening of the week so far. Breathing out, relaxing, releasing, letting go. Letting go of issues, worries, concerns, roles and responsibilities. Giving our mind a conscious break from the need to be engaging into thought and thinking as we settle into the present moment intimately, deeply, kindly. And particularly developing a connecting relationship with our breath, our reference point for being in the present, noticing and feeling each breath, each therapeutic breath, relaxing breath, each life-giving breath. But before bringing awareness to the breath, just feeling into our body sitting here, this foundation of mindfulness, mindfulness of the body. Particularly as we come to our senses, both literally and metaphorically. Noticing some touch points, touch of our feet against the floor. Feeling the touch of our body against the chair cushion or meditation stool. Feeling the touch of our hands resting in our lap. One hand resting in the other or against the fabric of our clothes. And bringing awareness up to our face, noticing our face, maybe feeling the air connecting with our face. And then from the sense of touch, noticing the sense of sight and seeing as we perceive some degree of light coming in through the closed eyelids. Lightness, brightness, color, patterning, or just a blankness, simply seeing. From sense of sight and seeing, moving awareness to notice the sense of sounds and hearing. A few background sounds, maybe subtle sounds from in this room. Maybe hearing a few sounds from outside the room. And not so much thinking about the sound, but simply hearing the different tone, pitch, volume, layers, levels of sound. The soundscape of life just here, just now. All sounds occurring on the background of silence. And also noticing the sense of smell and taste. Noticing any aroma, fragrance, scent in the room. Noticing any residue, taste, flavors in the mouth. Just noticing without thinking. But if thoughts do occur, we simply recognize those as another sense, the mental sense of thoughts, thinking, thoughts as a mental sight or image that we see, thoughts as a mental sound or voice that we hear. Developing this calm, objective, receptive, attentive knowing. Helping the mind move from being caught in mental comment, commentary, critique, concern, complaint, and just mindfully knowing. Knowing the flowing fabric of experience, pure and simple in the present. Simply sitting, being, breathing, knowing. A neutral knowing, a non-personal knowing. And particularly taking up the breath as the primary point of knowing. Feeling that sense of touch, the touch of the breath at the nose, nostril area. Feeling the in-breath, feeling the out-breath. Receiving the in-breath, then relinquishing that to become the out-breath. Receiving, relinquishing, allowing, letting go. Maintaining this moment-to-moment awareness. Please help yourself to some tea biscuits. Scott, can I get you to turn the urn down, please? Thanks. At our meditation group, Ratanagiri Meditation Sangha, we have a tradition, which is that the Thursday after we've had a Sunday retreat session, we have a bit of a debrief, what I call Ewa Me Sutang, which translates as "Thus have I heard." And as some of you already know, that many of the Buddha's discourses that are collected in the Tripitaka, the three baskets, particularly the Sutta Pitaka, the discourses of the Buddha, begin with those words, "Thus have I heard." Then they give the occasion and the situation that the Buddha gave a particular talk. "Thus have I heard." At one time, the Buddha was dwelling at Savatthi, and at that time, a large number of monks have come, and the Buddha addressed them thus, etc. So in keeping with that sort of tradition, we can have the same sort of process that on the Thursday after the Sunday, we can share some of the things we maybe heard on the Sunday retreat. So those that weren't present can hear a bit about what we heard, what we learned about, also to ask any further questions, make comment, and so forth. And particularly this period now, from the full moon of July through to the full moon of October, which I've mentioned is the Vassa period, 3-month period of retreat, which has been practiced for 2,614 years every year. So engaging upon the Vassa retreat means engaging into a retreat that's probably one of the longest running retreats, yearly retreats in the history of humanity, particularly for monks and nuns that will stay in one place for 3 months. But for us, we can have this non-residential retreat period to look into, to look after our practice, to define and refine our spiritual Dhamma practice, and to develop and deepen our meditation. So a 3-month period, really helpful as a good block of time to commit to, and to even do some extra special practices, whether it's exercise, diet, sleeping less or sleeping more if you don't get enough sleep, and basically nourishing our being in this block of time. And as I mentioned, I usually provide a theme for the Vassa retreat period, which is punctuated with the 4 Vassa retreat Sundays, and then the Thursdays where we can not just the Thursday after the Sunday retreat, but the other Thursdays as well, reflect upon some of the learnings, expand upon some of the learnings. So the theme for this year is the Dasa Punya Kirya Watu. Dasa, 10, Punya, meritorious, Kirya, actions or behaviors, Watu, to be engaged upon, to be performed. So, which I've sort of put it together as the 10 ways of well-being, 10 ways that bring about well-being. And so that this evening we can reflect a bit on that. Next week we'll talk more specifically about the first of the 10, and which we'll sort of look at each week over the next 10 to 12 weeks. But this particular set of 10, you can see how they're in the context of the whole of the Buddhist teachings. The whole of the Buddhist teachings are summarized in the 4 truths, the Arya Satya, the 4 noble truths, which are in a way a summary of the Buddhist teachings, in that the first truth, that there is the experience of stress and suffering in life. People experience stress and suffering. Not that life is stress and suffering, but people experience stress and suffering, first truth. Second truth, there is a cause to people's stress, distress, unease, and suffering. And the cause basically is through clinging and grasping and holding on, binding to ourself things that are otherwise in time, impermanent, transient, and so forth. The third truth is there is the ending, or there can be the ending of stress and suffering, which ultimately is through the letting go. Ultimate letting go is enlightenment, the mind that's liberated, freed from holding, clinging, grasping, and binding, and this consequent stress, distress, despair that comes from that. And the fourth truth is that there is the practice path to be engaged that leads to letting go. And the practice path is the eightfold path, the 8 elements. The 8 elements. So we have right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration or meditation, which summarize down into 3 areas of sila, samadhi, panya, which are sila, living in a wholesome, moral, ethical way, living consciously, mindfully. Samadhi, developing quality and clarity of mind, meditation. And panya, which is wisdom, engaging and living in a wise way. So the set of 10, the 10 ways to well-being, in a way, are an expression of morality, meditation, and wisdom. They even include those elements in the 10. So I'll read out the 10, which we've probably nearly all learnt off by heart. Yes. In Pali as well as English. So we have the first one is generosity. So generosity. The second one is morality. The third one is meditation. The fourth one is respect. The fifth one is being of service to others. The sixth one is sharing of merit with other people, sharing one's good energy, one's merit, one's joy with other people. The seventh one is rejoicing in other people's making of merit, doing good things, doing the right thing. So being happy for them and having a sense of sharing that sense of joy. I'm so happy that that's what you're doing. And then the eighth one is giving some wise guidance, giving some Dharma teachings, some wise counsel. The ninth one is listening to some wise counsel or teachings. And the 10th one is correcting or straightening one's wrong views about things. So just as a global look at all of those, they basically come down to the practice of giving and caring. Giving and caring. They're all about sort of giving in some sort of a way and also caring about others in some sort of a way. So very much helping to let go of self-centeredness and being caught up in ego-centeredness and a sense of developing a way of appreciating others, connecting with others, developing conscious relationship. And in the process, one's also looking after oneself as well, looking after the quality and clarity of one's mind uh, through certainly things like morality and meditation, and even if in being generous is like we feel good about doing that. And so they're all about looking after ourselves in the process of looking after others, because we don't live in isolation. So the more we're able to look into, look out for, look after ourselves, we're less likely to be a stress, a pain for others, and even especially going out of our way to be kind and caring and giving and sharing of with others. So it's like a wonderful sort of template to check in on and to use. And most of these 10 we probably already engage upon and use to some degree. But by looking at them over the course of the Vassa retreat period, even getting to emphasize them, exercise them, engage them, express them, then we can make them part of our being, part of how we interface with experience. Even seeing where they can become a particular practice on a daily basis. On a daily basis. And these are things that people that would see themselves as Buddhists do engage upon on a daily basis, particularly generosity. Buddhism really runs on the fact of generosity. The whole lineage of monastic practitioners, monks and nuns, live because there's generous people. If there weren't generous people in the world, then there wouldn't be any monks and nuns, Buddhist monks and nuns, because they live reliant on the generosity of other people. And so that daily practice of that we can sort of choose, okay, this is what I'm going to do on a daily basis. I'm going to do this act of being helpful or giving. I'm going to be engaging some moral precepts, maybe prescribed precepts. I'm going to refrain from this and this and this, etc. I'm going to be daily meditation practice. I'm going to be able to be more thoughtful, considerate, appreciative, respectful of particular people in my life. I'm going to be able to see how I can be of service to certain people in my life, maybe a little bit more than what I have been. I'm going to be maybe dedicating the goodness of my life and meditation practice every day as a regular practice, and then also where I can expressing joy, to be sharing some words of wisdom where I can. I'm going to be listening to some words of wisdom, views on things so that I can develop a clear, wise, right view. So these become just things that we engage upon on a daily basis for looking after ourselves. And the appreciation here is that these are things that are wholesome, that are healthy, that are good, that generate wholesome karma. And as I mentioned before, this idea of merit, with the word punya, it's about generating wholesome karma, because we live according to our karma, the basic fundamental law of cause and effect. And so to do good things, we're more likely to have the results of good things that we've done, as opposed to do bad things. Yes, we're more likely to receive the results of that. So basically, it's that which ye sow, so shall ye reap. That's the law of consequences. And so developing the wholesome sort of karma, merit, and so that we have a stock of merit to live from and to use, and we're continuing to replenish that. So as I mentioned on the Sunday, we have the idea that someone's down on their merits have run out. Okay, so well, that's not good enough. It's about generating merit. Go and do something good. Go and be helpful for someone else. Say something kind. Do something kind. Share something. Be helpful and generate that good, wholesome karma that can then support one's well-being. So the Buddha was, able to point this out and as a practice, to make it a practice. So it's sort of like a prescription. Okay, the diagnosis is that people are stressed and suffering. The prognosis is potentially for well-being, ease and joy, and in one's life, whether it's mental, physical health and well-being, whether it's prosperity, whether it's enabling wholesome, healthy, conscious connections, positive relationships. That's the prognosis, and the prescription then for that is to engage upon the 10 ways of well-being, the 10 ways of developing punya, merit. So it's wonderful that we have this formula to help us engaging into our life. And when we sort of look into it, we see, well, it's really sort of common sense. It's sort of one doesn't need to say, oh, I'm not a Buddhist, I won't do that. But it's like, this is just common sense. It's beyond sort of being a Buddhist or being anything. It's common wise sense to be able to see the law of cause and effect. And by doing good things, it helps us. We feel good, affects our thoughts, our mental states, our emotions, our moods, our what we say, our behaviors, and that sort of flows on energetically into our interface with others, particularly, and experience as a whole. So the 10 ways to well-being, something to really emphasize over the 3-month period. I recommend, again, that you maybe print out the notes if you can. If you've got the notes, and stick the 10 on the back of the door, toilet door. Okay, what are the 10? I'll learn the first 2 this week, and I'll learn so you learn them off by heart, and you know what they are, and you use them. Finding opportunities, situations in life. Oh, I can be helpful there. I can do the right thing there. The right thing might be just being careful what you say. Most people are generally behaving in a wholesome, healthy way, but we often can slip by saying the wrong things, maybe saying something, or maybe speaking too much, or giving too much advice, or maybe not saying enough. And so speech is something to be really mindful of. But life is full of opportunities for being able to express these 10 ways to well-being. So for those of you that were here on the Sunday just passed, any thoughts or questions that you might have, any comments, and those that weren't, also any questions or comments, because we can whether we're able to do the Sunday sessions or not, this is sort of a process of what we're engaging upon over the 12-week period. Linda?
So you mentioned that by doing this practice at this special time can reduce your karmic debt. How does it do that?
Well, I didn't actually say it can reduce the karmic debt, but yes, that's correct. The Buddha said that human beings are the only creature that can change their karma. So particularly if naturally through the course of our life, we do things that, oh, I shouldn't have done that. It's upsetting, regretful, and so forth. But we can counteract or counterbalance that with doing good things. So that we feel better in ourselves. We're sort of rebalancing the scale, so to speak. And particularly in Buddhist culture, if someone's done something particularly not good, they'll be extra attentive to these things, often going to a monastery and being extra supportive or helpful, extra generous, and so forth. So it's a way of like making amends, and particularly it needs to be taken to heart, not just, oh, I messed up, so I'm just going to do this and it's going to wipe it all away. But really, really sort of seeing what one's done, not helpful, not skillful, etc., and feeling, yes, I want to rebalance by doing something extra positive, helpful, kind, caring for others.
And what about with that? So you have to be aware of what you've done wrong. So what about
Not necessarily, actually. It's good if you are, but sometimes we're not aware of stuff, even not just in a past life, but even in this life, not aware that we've upset somebody or hurt somebody. They maybe haven't said anything about it. So that, but by being kind and caring and supportive and so forth, it is sort of helping to balance things out. Do you have any thoughts yourself about this?
Yeah, just it seems to have it's just continual. Like you just never seem to get beyond the fixing the stuff up.
Well, you can. The ultimate way is to realize enlightenment, and which is about seeing through the construct of the self, and therefore there's no more karma being made. Nothing's personalized or taken personally or getting caught up in the clinging, condemning, reacting, resisting, denying, distracting. It's just there's just mindful, calm awareness and expression of compassion and care. Ending of karma.
And with if you reach that point where would that where your karmic debt was reduced to the point that is there a ripple effect, like where the things, even if you stop doing something, you're aware of something you're continually doing, you decide you no longer do that, and you're aware of that, there's a ripple effect, sort of, you've got to wait for that to become calm again?
Yes, that's a good point. Particularly my teacher Ajahn Chah, who it's appreciated he was fully enlightened, but he said that he was going to become unwell, and even though he wasn't making any more karma, his mind was free, liberated, pure, but there was a karmic debt that was still going to occur. So he became sick and was paralyzed for many years. He wasn't suffering because of it. There was his body was dealing with this illness, but there was no sort of suffering there. And but it was just he said it was a karmic result of previous lives that so because it ended ended sort of continuing on, there was still stuff that was being burnt up at that time, particularly through illness.
Thanks.
The understanding and the law of karma, it can look simple, but it can be actually quite complex. Simply, it's the law of cause and effect. But there's sort of various degrees and weights of karma, and also particularly based upon intention as well. There's a really go ahead.
Sorry, is it not possible? It's not. So if you're alive, is it not possible to avoid? It's not possible to avoid it because you're constantly creating a cause and effect.
Yep. But ideally, that we're creating a wholesome cause that will bring about a wholesome effect. And also then, if things are done without attachment, I'm doing this because I want to get a good effect, attachment. So if things are done because they're you just know it's wholesome as opposed to being attached to the outcome, that's where there's less sort of karma being made, even if it's like good stuff, but attaching to it. There's a really good book by Ajahn Sucitto, an English Buddhist monk. I spent time living with him when I was in England as a monk. There may be a copy still over there. I think there might be. I think it's called Karma and the Ending of Karma. It's one of the best books I've read to help explain the way in which karma works.
Because there's also the mechanisms that you describe that influence those outcomes of karma. But I'm also fascinated by the devotion as a mechanism. You know what I mean? I mean, I think in Buddhism it is the devotion of self to align to all those principles. And I think there's a karmic thing that you come in with from a devotional aspect that draws you towards Buddhism or those practices of sitting still and contemplating and reflecting. And I don't know, what are your thoughts on devotion there? I'm curious.
Yeah, in Theravada Buddhism, which is the original teachings of the Buddha, there's less emphasis on devotional practice as you'd find in maybe Vajrayana Buddhism or Mahayana Buddhism, or particularly because they're sort of related back a bit more to the Hindu tradition, where there's a lot more of the bhakti yoga devotional aspect, but still in Buddhism in generally, and also Theravada Buddhism, that is that sense of saddha. Saddha is it's one of the 5 spiritual powers. It's seen, saddha is confidence or faith, and a sense of heart sort of connection to teachings. It may be then to a teacher as well, that sense of confidence, particularly like in the Buddha. And certainly a lot of the Buddhist chanting that's done has an element of devotional practice. We can use the word devotional, but also devoting or directed towards alignment with that which is Dharma, reality, or truth. So that needs to be sort of there to keep people connected. If they're not devoted to that, then their devotion goes to something else which could be about making lots of money, or about sort of food, or whatever it might be. We're all devoted to something or other.
Thanks.
Any other thoughts about any of the this idea of the 10 ways to well-being? You may find that of the 10, there may be 1 or 2 that stand out as being particularly significant for you, or of interest for you, or something which is like, yes, I'm very aligned to that as a particular practice. Or even that life is calling upon you to engage that. It might be, okay, well, Service. That's one that I need to be doing now, because I need to be of service to a parent or maybe the children or something, so that something in particular, my life is aligned to that at the moment because of circumstances. That's what's happening. But certainly life does offer up lots of occasions, sort of the multiplicity of occasions that allow us to engage these qualities. And then particularly if we know, yes, these are really important and helpful. The Buddha spoke about the importance of these, then a sense of joy in doing them, as opposed to, oh, why do I have to do this now? It's like, well, opportunity, wonderful, thank you. It's a lovely quote by Rabindranath Tagore. I even put in the notes, it's to do with service. The quote goes, I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and found that life was service. I acted and beheld that service was joy. So I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and found that life was service. I acted and beheld that service was joy. So we'll continue to look into these, particularly next week, look into dana, generosity, and how that can be helpful for our practice, and following on from that over the consecutive weeks. So make the 12 weeks, the 3 months significant, important for yourself, a special block of time for growth. And if you don't have the notes and would like them, it's about 60 pages. I can email them to you and you can make use of them. Just best to send me an email, that I can return it with the notes. And also, if you do have them, then make good use of them. Read them and apply them, and answer some of the questions in there as well for our ongoing learning. Thanks for coming out tonight, and enjoy the rest of the moon this evening.